The Confederacy of Independent Systems was an organization made up of several large corporations, including the Commerce Guild, the Trade Federation, and others. It's probably no surprise then that during the Clone Wars, many varieties of battle droids saw action. My name is Eckharts. I run a Star Wars channel focused on Star Wars and science fiction. Sometimes I do spaceship versus where I put two spaceships head to head, sometimes I do lore videos, and often I do top 5s. Geetsly has kindly offered me a spot on his channel for today. I'll be posting a video here, and he'll also be posting one on my channel, so after you've watched this one, make sure to go out and check out the video he made for me. There'll be a link down in the description, I'm sure. Today we're taking a look at the battle droids used during the Clone Wars, and we're counting down the 5 most rare variants. So you're certainly not going to see the B1 battle droid here, you're not even going to see the Droidica or the Super Battle Droid. Today we're looking at the weird, the uncommon, and we're really digging deep into Star Wars lore to find these top 5. For this list, we'll be considering both Star Wars canon and Star Wars Legends, just because the Clone Wars era does have a lot of overlap. With that being said, let's get right into the list. The 5th most rare droid used by the Confederacy of Independent Systems is the Ultra Droidica, and as with some other placements on the list, this droid comes from a very obscure source, specifically a Leapfrog handheld Clone Wars game. Yeah, that is fairly random. The game itself does actually seem to be fairly entertaining. It's a traditional side-scrolling beat-em-up where you play as Anakin or Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the final boss for the game is this giant destroyer droid called an Ultra Droidica. Now of course, the Leapfrog is a children's educational game, so while destroying the large droid, you also get to learn math, so that's one benefit. Unfortunately, I was rather limited when it came to footage available for this game, and the only thing I really had available was the trailer, which does show the droid briefly. We can see that it's about 30 feet tall, is kind of a traditional Droidica shape, has the Droidica energy shield, and looks to be quite dangerous. It can also roll quite quickly as most destroyer droids, and wouldn't be something you'd want to mess with. Presumably there were more of these droids than the one that Obi-Wan and Anakin fight, but it only really appears in this one game. I could, I guess technically for that reason, put it at the number 1 spot on this list, but I'm going to assume that it did see other action during the Clone Wars, because why wouldn't it? For number 4, we have another remarkably scaled up version of a common droid. It's the B3 Ultra Battle Droid. The B3 is remarkable for several reasons. The first and the most obvious one is its size. It's about twice as large as a traditional B2 Super Battle Droid. With that size came the unique density projector technology, which added to the mass of the droid and made it very difficult to move. This caused the droid to be a threat to even skilled Jedi Knights. The most notable appearance of this droid comes from the Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures comics based on the old Clone Wars television show. In that comic, Jedi Masters Saiz Tin and Mace Windu face off against the droid and struggle quite desperately against it, especially against the homing rockets which the Jedi struggle to avoid. Master Tin actually manages to catch a missile, throws it at the droid, but even that, along with the various lightsaber attacks, isn't enough to stop it, and they eventually crush it under a Hailfire droid. However, because of the immense cost of these droids and because the Separatist army really relied on sheer numbers rather than quality of troops, these were in limited supply and they didn't see a whole lot of action on the battlefield. For that reason, they were the 4th rarest droid used during the Clone Wars. The 3rd most rare droid used during the Clone Wars was the CB3 Cortosis Battle Droid. The CB3 actually makes a lot of sense. It takes the basic frame of a B2 Super Battle Droid, which was already fairly effective, and adds lightsaber resistant cortosis to it. This makes it an extremely effective tool for hunting and killing Jedi. The story of the CB3 is told in Star Wars: The New Droid Army, which was a Game Boy Advanced game. In it we learn that these droids were actually so effective against the Republic and the Jedi that Chancellor Palpatine, who obviously had a large degree of control over both sides during the Clone Wars, leaked the location of the primary CB3 factory to the Republic. Anakin Skywalker manages to not only destroy the factory on Mandalore, but also defeats Count Dooku in a one-on-one lightsaber battle, which is fairly impressive. The Separatists would not go on to establish any new factory, leading to the CB3 as being kind of a limited run droid, although it does seem like that initial production run did create some decent numbers, which leads it to be number 3 on this list. Number 2 is the Scorpionic Annihilator droid, and sadly this is one of those things in the Star Wars universe that only really exists in reference books. Most of the information we know of the Annihilator droid comes from the new Essential Guide to Droids, which thankfully I have right here next to me. I'll read off some brief passages from the textbook and give you guys an idea of what the droid was like. A Scorpion-neck Annihilator droid moves on 4 pointed limbs. It carries itself in the menacing stance of a mantis, with its weaponed arms cocked back, ready to strike. 2 rapid-fire, high-intensity laser cannons on each arm deliver blistering barrages that can crack the hulls of enemy tanks. It goes on to talk about how the droid has a special energy shield which allows droidekas to park inside of it and basically gives them 2 layers of protection, which is kinda cool. Then goes on to say that a single droid could easily take down dozens of ATTEs and could easily change the tide of almost any battle. Because of their prohibitive cost, only 100 or so of these droids were ever produced, and after the Clone Wars, Palpatine himself collected them and repurposed them for defense guards at the Imperial Citadel on the planet Biss. Alright, so now it's time for the rarest droid used during the Clone Wars, and unsurprisingly, this one also comes from another rather obscure video game. The game is Star Wars The Clone Wars Lightsaber Duels, and the droid is the EG5 Jedi Hunter droid. This droid is actually so rare that it doesn't even appear in the Star Wars Encyclopedia, which itself is very surprising. It doesn't appear in the Star Wars New Guide to Droids. It only appears in this one Wii game. The Jedi Hunter is a lightsaber-wielding, Darth Vader stylized droid created by the Intergalactic Banking Clan. It seems to be capable of defeating Jedi one-on-one in lightsaber battles, so you would think that this would be an extremely important tool for the Separatists, given how instrumental the Jedi were to the Republic's war effort. Like with the Cortosis battle droid, Anakin is sent to the droid factory to shut it down. All we know is that he manages to defeat one of the EG5s, so I guess presumably he shut down the factory and no more were made. Given that we only ever see one of these droids whatsoever in any canon, and that it would be very useful if it was more widespread, I'm going to assume that the EG5 Jedi Hunter droid was the rarest droid created by the Separatists for use during the Clone Wars. But, however, that is just my opinion. Did I forget something? Did you like this list? Are you guys happy to see me on Geetsly's channel? Let both of us know all of that and more down in the comments. Also, I'm going to ask Geetsly to put a poll right here in the upper right hand corner. Let both of us also know which one of the droids on this list was your favorite. For the usual viewers of my channel who are watching this, please do not spam your versus suggestions down in the comments. Geetsly's usual viewers will be very confused about what's going on. If you guys who haven't seen my channel before enjoyed this video, make sure to check out Eckharts ladder, and if you want to see some dogs and my personal life and some other stuff, you can check out my second channel, X2. Again, I'm sure there'll be links to all of that in the description. I don't do just Star Wars, but I also talk about Halo and other science fiction franchises. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thank you again, Geetsly, for allowing me to spend some time with your viewers. This has been Eckharts Ladder. May the Force be with you.